What's up, guys and gals? It's time for another chapter review for the latest chapter of Strike It Rich. Chapter 47, and... Okay. Two things I really like about this chapter, just right out of the gate. Number one, this is obviously the end of the fight. There's one little thing that I'm kind of like, but it is what it is, and we've had this happen in a lot of Kengan matches in the Kengan universe overall anyway, so this is not a new problem, and it seems to be happening in Star as well here and there, is the fact that, so let's just get that one out of the way. Rhea seems to be totally fine after taking this shit kicking, after extending her arms to their maximum, going wild, bloodlust, trying to kill, Hina going all out, seemingly like knocking her the hell out, like she's going to be comatose for a while. Nah, she's just laying there. Well, that sucks. Like 2 minutes later. So it's like, I know that sort of happens a lot in Kengan and stuff like that, but it's just like, okay, she just took a literal, quite a shit kicking. She should not be conscious yet, nor should she be all, I'm the last star, I'm the 9th star, lore drop, which is the good thing that I was talking about, one of the two great things I was talking about. But she's laying there, sort of like, well, I tried my best, but I couldn't even lay a dent in you. I didn't even entertain you. Well, this sucks. Like, her whole thing was, I'm insane. I'm crazy. I love you, Hina. I'm going to break you, Hina. Then all of a sudden, all the craziness, like, she's being totally, like, a very rational, logical person after literally, possibly rupturing some organs. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, a little bit of whiplash effect on her personality from what we've understood of her this entire time, right? At least from my perspective, that's all I'm trying to say. Now, that's only a minor nitpick. There are some great things in this chapter. Number one is, once again, we are following I know for a fact Sandra read Bloody Monday. He read it, he loves it, and now he wants to write the female version of it, because, with Kengan characters, with fighting involved, because we have Watanabe here, and she's looking through all of the different, she's obviously got somebody wired, the room wired more than likely, rather than Rhea or Hina. That would be a little too much, sort of idea, but she's here sort of looking in, trying to figure out, so it's likely just a microphone by the looks of this chapter and stuff, but she's sitting from a fair distance away. She's trying to gather some intel. Once again, she was hired to figure out more about Hina and stuff like that. So they're talking about the 9th star being dead last. This is the power system, like the 9th star could never beat the 4th star. Hina is confirmed now to be the 4th star. But Hina remarks that system doesn't matter too much, and we double down on that factor, though I doubt it's going to go the way that the 5th star thinks it will. But we'll get into that. So they talk about this thing, they talk about this orphanage, sort of idea that there are 9 children at the 9 stars, 9's dead last. They're trying to figure this out, the house of the stars. It's an orphanage, sort of idea. And obviously this is where they were taught and they were trained to be the revolutionaries, to be the star children and all this stuff, right? So they take Rhea away and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, you're not going to kill me, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't care about that kind of stuff, and it's crazy. We get this amazing horror scene. And I will say, like, once again, there are 2 parts that I love about this chapter. Number one, all this lore we're learning. See, we're learning stuff. Ain't that happy? Aren't we happy about lore? We love lore. Even as Kengan meatheads, we love our lore, right? On this channel, we appreciate world building and lore. So, we're getting lore. So obviously, it's a really good chapter for that alone, because we're downloading more about the Star Children, about where they're coming from, what they seemingly know about their teacher and stuff, because we're learning more outside of this conversation. But just the aspect, the horror aspect, and this is once again reminding me very much of the weight and the aura in Bloody Monday. Same idea here, because she's just in the room alone, and Karen's there, and she's like, I wish I could have gotten more intel, yada yada yada. And all of a sudden it says, hello, can you hear me, with Watanabe? This full page spread, the doom and gloom look. It's freaky. I'm sorry. Okay, so there's, and I forget what it's called, but it begins with an S, Shika something. Anyways, I read this manga years ago, a horror manga, when I was trying to read everything. I was reading like dozens of manga per month. I was catching up on things that were 30 chapters long, things that were 90 chapters long, whatever. I was binging manga, right? So this is quite an old series, probably like 2000s. But it was under the horror genre, and I'm going to tell you guys, as much as, certain horror movies and stuff freak me out, very few, and I can't really think of a single anime that has given me that horror vibe, that one that I've been like, okay, I'm a little disturbed like I am watching a different type of movie, watching Japanese horror, watching whatever, gore films, whatever. I would argue that manga panels, for me personally, can be, if done like this, are more horrifying because they're still, and because it's silent, that's scarier than seeing the motion and hearing the sound and the music in an anime. An anime scene has never terrified me. An anime scene has never made me feel like scared or uncomfortable like certain horror movies do. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be macho and manly, but, some things do freak me out. I'm a bit of a bitch like that. And this is one of those where if you stare at this too long, you can hear this in your head. Can you not? You know exactly what this sounds like. This sounds like creepy little girl from a horror film. And it's just the black shading and everything here. The still is working. It is working. It's doing the effect it's meant to do. And I'm looking at it right now and I'm just like, okay, yeah. Because it's unhinged. I think that's the best word to describe it. It's very unhinged. It's uncomfortable, and that's what gives you that ick feeling. That's what gives you that, like you get the shivers, you get the goosebumps. Like this ain't right. Sort of like when you have the killer all, like a Sinister movie. The killer all along was the children. It's like, sorry, spoilers for like a 10-year-old movie, but you know what I mean. Like the children are the okay, daddy. It's all right. I'll take care of you. Meanwhile, they got a bloody hammer as they're like, don't worry. I just poisoned your coffee. Like that type of shit I find is more terrifying than like, the freaky adult. You know what I mean? It's more terrifying. This is more terrifying. And I would argue the still image is doing such wonders. What a great idea. The good paneling, the good, the artistic choices here, the twisting of the body to a proportion that's not, it doesn't look correct. It looks a little inhuman, right? And then the following shot of just Karen sweating bullets, giving us the same feeling. So our next page in our next panel, this is a great choice of pacing, is we're already seeing this effect, the same effect that we are meant to feel like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on? And Karen is basically the reader at this point. She's freaking out. She's sweating bullets, and she's covering her mouth because she's like, she's hyperventilating because she's about to puke. She's like, holy shit. Not only is she been caught, she had no idea. It's a surprise. It's the shock value. It's the jump scare, but a really good jump scare. Not jump scare for jump scare's sake like a slasher film. No, horror done right. So I really do appreciate this. Maybe I'm harping too much about this. Maybe I'm giving too much credit. But when I turn a page and I go, woo, when that happens for me, I've read now at this point hundreds of manga. Very few things make me go, woo, give me the, eee. Sort of like jumping to a page and you see giant spider, it's like, ugh, I wasn't ready for that. You know what I mean? Like, so that kind of idea. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing, like that. Whoa, didn't like that. So that's the feeling I'm getting. I think that this is portrayed very clearly with Karen here, with different panels, different shots of her being just full line drawing, being darkly shaded with the different auras. There's multiple shots, the impact shots. There's different perspectives, different, a far away, close up. Not only the perspectives, but the action lines as though something major is happening. The aura shots, everything is working. Then we get the still, and then her freaking out, and then the initial shock has worn off, and now she's pissed off like, you got me. Same idea with that page turner. It got us as readers, like, it's a jump scare, it's a woo, and now all of a sudden you're like, ah, you fucking piece of shit movie, like, oh, yeah, I wish I had seen that. God damn it, that actually made me woo. Whenever a jump scare happens, doesn't matter how macho you are, but when a jump scare happens and you do that whole, you do that twitch, like, woo, wasn't expecting that because it's all dead silent, and then ding, you know, and then you initially go, oh, for fuck's sake, you fucking piece of shit. That's exactly what she's doing after that. She has her emotional thing, then she's sitting there, she's clenching her fist, and she's like, I'm too deep in this shit. That fucking bitch, I'm gonna find out everything about you, but you freak me the fuck out, and I'm getting the hell out of here, you know what I mean? So I really like that exchange. That exchange is great. Then we end off the chapter with meeting the second star and the fifth star. The second star is clearly the one we saw before with the sort of the bumblebee, you know, the leaves in silhouette. And she's like, okay, with the hearts. She's out to lunch, 100%. They both talk about the exact same thing, though. They both mention, like, okay, the first ones to start it off were the youngest ones, the fourth and the ninth star. The ones that were a pair together and stuff like that. We don't exactly know completely what all the details, what they mean, but from what we can gather is there was a 5-year truce. Their teacher from the Star Orphanage, the House of Stars, which is an orphanage that obviously raised them, had it set up a 5-year truce. We don't know where the teacher is, dead or alive, but the 5-year truce is obviously done now. So the fifth star is now ready to throw down with the second star. The problem here, in my opinion, is that they literally talk almost about, like, and this is coming from the fifth star. She's like, Rey never had a shot. She got too big for her britches and stuff. Basically repeating what we just heard. Now, they don't bring up the fact that a fifth star, you know, the fourth star never could have lost to the ninth star sort of idea. Too big a gap. But since we just found out about this, like, 6 pages ago, and Hina brings this up like, I don't really know if I have much faith in that, but Rey's the one to bring it up like that I had no shot because I was the ninth, you're the fourth. There's a reason for that. She's like, well, I'm not too sure about that. The fifth star strolls up and basically goes, yeah. Basically agreeing completely with Rey, like, yeah, she never stood a chance. She never should have tried. And the second star is doing the Hina thing. So the weaker star and the stronger star are having the same opinions as Hina and Rey here. She's saying, nope, she never stood a chance because she's too many pegs down below on the star ranking. While, meanwhile, the one in the higher ranking is saying, even so, she was really strong. You know, she grew really adept at using the Army of the Gods special martial arts and Army Breaker and stuff like that. You know, credit where credit is due. So, but then the fifth star immediately says, you know, the 5-year truce is over, calls her Rima. But she says that I abandoned that name a long time ago. It was never my name anyways. I'm calling myself the Supreme Star Dear God now. Real name unknown. So she calls herself Dear God. This one, the fifth star, the Omen star, is like, I never killed a god before. Let's see how mighty you are in hell. End of chapter. Now, once again, I like this exchange, because you can read it 2 ways, but it is funny that they both have the similar opinion but come to different conclusions. Rey thought that she would take a shot at jumping up in the star rankings, or however it works, right? We don't exactly know how the teacher, alive or dead, would reclassify your ranking as a star if you were to kill another star, like the Nikos, blah, 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 that sort of idea. We have no idea. But the fact of the matter is that the ninth star tried to defeat the fourth star and failed, and that was like the obvious outcome. And we have 4 stars basically saying, the 4 that we've met are all saying that, yeah, that was the obvious outcome. The fifth star agrees with this, but then immediately says, but I'm still going to challenge literally 3 stars above me. It obviously worked out so well for Rey right now, you know what I mean? And she's the fifth star. She's even lower than Hina, from what we understand. Now, Hina's the only one who doesn't, obviously, between them all, Hina seems to be the one that doesn't put a whole lot of weight that this ranking is due to solely power. So that is a possibility, and once again, this could be the reason. However, we basically are doing the same thing again, I feel. Like, Rey thought that she was so powered up with her Supreme Army Breaker, and it was shit. Obviously, this 5-year truce. This, the fifth star here, fighting the second, is obviously thinking the same thing. Like, I've powered up so much. Meanwhile, you don't think the second star has powered up or something? Like, so I expect us to jump back to this, and the second star to have completely annihilated the fifth star, and we'll see her, like, head on a spike or something like that. Her sword, like, her head's going to be on it. So I'm not going to really think about much about these two characters until I see. I guarantee you one now for shock value. Fifth star could have taken the second star place, and we'll see her head on, on the sword at the end. But I guarantee you, when we jump back to this, probably in a few chapters, when we jump back to this fight, we won't see the fight. We'll see the conclusion, and somebody's head is going to be on that sword. So don't get too invested in these characters, because I don't think one of them is walking away, right? Let's figure out which one actually survives this encounter off screen before we start placing our bets. You know what I'm saying? So shock value would dictate, hey, we're going to red herring and throw you for a loop, and the second star actually loses, the one called Dear God, the supreme star, the second closest, the one who has no true name. And she's the one who ends up losing. After we just saw how the rankings work and stuff, that would definitely throw us for a loop, but I can see it going either way. There's the obvious choice that the second star is going to kill the fifth star, and then there's the red herring idea, and let's throw us for a loop, and it's the opposite. I can see it going both ways. Either way, I thought the chapter was really good. We got lore dump, we got great art, supreme horror element, and if we keep following the Bloody Monday plot, it's only going to get fantastic, because Bloody Monday is one of my favorite mangas of all time. It's in my top 30, probably my top 20 actually. So Bloody Monday is one of my favorite mangas. I think it's one of the most best written stories that I've read in years. And if Star's going to continue to basically follow sort of in that footsteps or in that sort of blueprint, yes, that's nothing but gravy as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we can argue the semantics of basically following the same structure as a manga, but I mean, so many mangas do it at this point. Every shonen battle manga is going to have the same 3 arcs, every harem manga is going to have your beach episode, you know what I mean? At this point, is it really stealing, So, I don't know. Tropes are tropes, stealing, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. All I can tell you is that I'm enjoying the plot, how it's going forward. It's just very reminiscent to me of a personal favorite manga. And if they're going to continue to do that, I only think that the manga is going to get better as we get more chapters. But that's it for me, guys. I know it was a bit of a longer review, but I really wanted to talk about that horror element that's really going on here. It works extremely well for this manga. The artist is obviously doing it's not Daro. I always forget the name, but the artist doing this Sandro's work is obviously really diving into that disproportion of body proportion, that body dysmorphia, sort of, not body dysmorphia, but just making things look uncomfortable, just enough to sort of give us the ick, and it's working. It's working extremely well for the amount of weight they want to showcase panel by panel. So, anyways, that's it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys back here next time for Chapter 48 of Star Strike It Rich. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. Have a good one. See ya.